You're listening to The Real Short Box, a comic book podcast made for geeks by geeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for coming out and listening to The Real Short Box. My name is Donald.
My name is Kevin.
And my name is Kim.
And we are here today. We're going to, this is Short Box class. We're going to be teaching today. We're going to be teaching not only Kim here, who doesn't really know much about the whole CGC, CBCS, PGX thing, graded comics.
Sure don't.
But we're going to be also hopefully teaching some of you, the audience members that are listening out there that might not know about
The
graded
intricacies.
books. Yeah.
The intricacies of grading.
The ins and outs, so to speak. So, to get started, I have 3 different books here from 3 different companies.
And 3 different classifications.
Right, 3 different grades. So we'll start off
With the one, I say I start out with the one that's least popular or least respected. I mean, they get a bad rap unfairly, but...
Yeah, I feel like this book could have been pressed too. Look at that.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Right?
It's funny, that company I heard supposedly does pressing services.
Really?
PGX. Supposedly.
That's what we're talking about. And their motto is speed, consistency, accuracy.
The first 2 are very true.
Speed and consistency?
Yes.
Yeah. Accuracy, that is what they're not known. Well, they're known for inaccuracy, to be honest. That's the big thing with PGX. PGX is the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately. Sorry, PGX, when it comes to graded books. And why is that, Kevin?
It just it has a reputation, although some of it is exaggerated in some circles of not being, as you said, perfectly accurate with their grading. So perhaps a 8.0 is really a 7.0, for example.
Yeah, so they might be a little generous in their grades, which is great for the collector, but...
And again, these are just allegations. I had a PGX book, and, it looked the part, looked like it was 8.5, so I'm not going to disparage them, but I know, unfortunately, in some parts of the comic book world, they don't have the best reputation. And some people think it's unfair, but...
Well, like I will say, this I have a New Gods #1 here, sitting here. It's a graded 6.0 PGX. If you notice there.
What are the... I don't even know
the grades. That's true. You tell you that. Well...
1 through 10.
1 through 10.
Well,
Right.
actually
0
through 10.
0 through 10.
Yeah, there's no negatives, I don't think,
Yeah,
right?
no, not yet. A negative would probably be if the dog chewed that thing up so much.
Shit it out, and then they had it taken over to the company.
But if I recall, let's start to the very top.
You're going to deduct points for the smell.
For the smell. A 10 is considered would be a gem mint. A 10 is extremely, extremely, extremely rare. You can find the crappiest book that no one cares about. If it's graded a 10, people want it. Usually you see on eBay, they'll be up for ridiculously high prices.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what classifies the grading
grades.
system?
10 is perfection.
Perfection. In other words,
No flaws.
Okay.
no flaws whatsoever. The corners are super sharp where you can slice your finger basically with them.
Okay, so for example, you see this, I'm showing her the 6.0 of the New Gods #1. You see the staple placement here?
Yeah.
Staples, the binding's a little off. You see where
Okay.
that line is across there? You're not really technically supposed to see that white line.
Oh, okay.
So-
Also, color is also a big deal. So you see that the browning of the paper.
Yeah, it's gotten a little off color. Another thing, like he was saying, the rounding of the corners, little dog ears kind of there.
Okay.
And there. If you look closely, you'll also notice on this cover, you see this, it looks like a foldy bend or a cut
Yeah.
in a way. And then back here you see that crimping of the paper. It looks like it could be flattened, but it's not.
Yeah.
So these all go into
Determining
determining the
grade.
quality.
And also,
That's
when you
just
open
the
up,
outside,
and yeah, I was about to say, when you open up the book itself, every page is inspected. For the same reason. You're looking for any kind of imperfections, any kind of discoloring, stains. Matter of fact, a lot of comics over the years, especially older ones, may have certain stains. Something could have been coffee stains, water stains, especially.
Yeah, a big one that is the Marvel Value stamp. From
Yes.
what was it, the 70s?
The 70s, the mid-70s.
The mid-70s. Marvel gave out these stamps in the inside of the comic that you could use to get, toys or prizes? Or...
Yeah, I guess certain prizes. And also, I think they had a stamp collecting book. You
could just
all
collect
of
the
them all.
stamps.
Oh, nice.
So they had that, right? So the kids would cut the stamps out, and then put them in the book, right?
Understandable.
That they got.
Yeah,
because they're
sure.
collecting them. They're kids.
Right.
Well, what they didn't know is by doing that, they're lessening the quality of the book eventually later in life.
Right.
So, like for example, a Hulk 181, which is the full first appearance of Wolverine.
Considered one of the holy grails of the Bronze Age.
Right. That book had a Marvel value stamp. So if you get that book and you don't know and you're buying it and you get one without that stamp,
And you get it graded.
it is worth significantly
Less.
less than one with the stamp.
I see.
Which is terrible because it's just a goddamn stamp.
But it makes all the difference.
The book could be pristine
But if that stamp's missing,
and they would tick it down like because
So
of that.
you bring this to the companies and they grade it then?
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, sometimes they do their own, and they'll sell them on their site.
Okay.
Oh, we got these books graded, and they're this, and this. But primarily, like, for example, this one here I bought, The New Gods from PGX. We're going to move over here then to the new kid on the block, the CBCS.
Yes, a spinoff. One of the founders of the
CGC.
CGC started CBCS.
CBCS. Now, this book I did take and have it graded. I did take it to CBCS back at WonderCon
Okay.
of 2018, and I had it graded, and it came back a 9.8. So this is an
That's
exceptional.
like super high.
Right.
Okay.
Now, it's possible, I don't know, I never looked, but it is possible that 9.8 is the highest grade that you'll find on this book.
Wow.
So it is either going to be...
Unless you check the registry, there could
Right.
be a 9.9 out there.
I've never heard of anybody getting a 9.9. Is that a grade? Can you get, like,
Yes.
off?
Yes. 10's the highest, then 9.9, then 9.8, and then it's like 9.6, 9.4. It's kind of weird. Like, they don't use any odd numbers.
Yeah, that's what I
after
was
that.
saying. I've never seen a 9.9.
Until, of course, you get to, I think, like, when you get to really, really bad, then it might go 0.3 or something like that.
Well, I've seen a 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
I've seen a 0.5 even. I've never seen a 0. Although I have seen a no grade, I think
Yeah,
is what
no
it
grade.
was.
NR or NR or something like that. Or something
Yeah.
like that.
I
Yeah,
think
sorry,
it's what-
NG. Yeah,
NG,
no grade.
no grade because
Yeah.
it's basically
not
those
even
are the
worth it.
ones right. Those are the ones that you'll see where it's a page out of one of the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Like somebody's like, well, I can't afford to get Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man, so I got this page from it.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Dead Sea Scroll thing in a way. It's like, oh, if I just get a piece of it,
Right.
piece
Right.
of history,
Right.
I'm happy.
Yeah, and in some ways that's satisfactory to a lot of people.
Okay.
And even to me, if I had just a page out of Action Comics,
Make your day.
that would make me pretty happy. Like Action Comics #1 anyway, not like number 1,000. I would
Yeah,
be a little annoyed by that one.
But that one page alone would literally be worth like $25,000 or something like that.
Right. So to close out PGX is still in the business. They're still
Based in Oregon, I believe.
they're they grade it. They'll put the date 12/17. So this was last December of 2017 that this was graded. Then they'll put the name of the book. Then they put the grade there in off white to white pages. And then on the back, they don't really have anything listed. It's all listed on the front.
And also just have like a barcode or at least a way to track.
Yeah, they all have a number. So
Tracking number.
PGX certified 501, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So you can look that number up if you go to their website, and it'll let you know that this is an actual book that they graded.
Oh, wow.
And it'll have the
Because-
notes too. It'll have the notes
Right,
too.
because everyone's afraid when they get books that someone takes these cases, cracks them open,
Sure.
and like puts different books in here and sells them.
Right.
And then creates numbers. And that's counterfeit, just like anything, like a counterfeit dollar bill.
Right.
So that's PGX, and that's a 6.0 of the New Gods. And we already started talking a little bit about CBCS, which is an offshoot of CGC. CBCS is now, I believe they got just recently bought by Beckett. Is that correct?
Yes. And now they moved from Florida to Texas.
Yeah. So now they're Texas-based. CGC, which is the standard, the gold standard, they're still based out of Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, but CBCS is now a Texas-based company. But this one here, this is Amazing Spider-Man 344. Now, if you see, it lists pretty much everything on the front. It tells you the grade, 9.8, and it'll tell you, Marvel 1991 Direct Edition, cover and art, Eric Larson and Randy Emberlin, story by David Michelini. First appearance of Cletus Cassidy, later becomes Carnage. First full appearance of Elias Wortham as Cardiac, and Rhino cover and appearance. So that's
Makes
Cardiac
things
as
easier.
Rhino.
It tells you the significance of the book
Right.
itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's nice. If you see it, you know exactly what you're getting in that way. Now on this one with CBCS, the number is on the back where they'll tell you, you know, where you look it up and stuff, so you can check to see that it's graded from them and properly, you know,
Nice.
placed in there. It does say story title, Hearts and Power on the back, so it does have a little note. It says, for graders' notes on this book, please visit cbcscomics.com/grading, blah, 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 blah. So that's a 9.8 for this one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book.
It is a nice book. So CBCS, 9.8, like I said, that might be the highest grade. I don't know. If there's a 10 out there, it's possible, because this is a book from the 90s.
Right.
This is what, 1990, 91, somewhere around there? 91.
91.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just have to check the registry. Usually everything that's registered under CGC, at least.
Right.
It'll tell you.
And this is 1970, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a 1970 book. 20 years later, you get that one.
Crazy.
Now, this one is a 1964 book.
Whoa.
This is
Silver Age book.
a Silver Age book graded by CGC. Now, CGC, and I don't know so much about the CBCS and the PGX label colors, but I know pretty well with the CGCs. The universal grade is this blue label that you see here, and it's at the top where the book is encased in. Now, this book in particular, it's got a 4.0. It says cream to off-white pages. It doesn't have any more notes about that posted on the book itself. It says Gardner Fox story, Murphy Anderson cover and art. Origin and first appearance of Zatanna. This is Hawkman number 4. And this came out in 1964 from DC Comics. Now, if you look at this book in particular, this book, if you're not careful, and the person I purchased it from didn't pay enough attention, and when I got it, I knew exactly that he had sold me something a little different than what I had asked. When I purchased the book, I said, I want to make sure staples are intact. There's no large creases on the covers or anything, because I'm buying a book from 1964. It's a first appearance of Zatanna. It's an early Hawkman. It wasn't cheap. So I said, please check those for me, let me know. And he's like, okay, staples intact. There's only about 1/8 of an inch of a fold on the top of the cover. And I was like, okay, perfect, I'll take it. So I finally get the book in, and I look at the book, and the first thing I notice, bottom left,
Yeah, I was going to say that one looks pretty bad.
that
I
staple
don't
is
know
not
much about it.
intact.
No.
The staple is gone through into another world. It's inside. It has obviously had a staple pop. It's very visible. The book itself, otherwise, is in great condition for a book from 1964. I mean, if you look at the cover, there's not much, like, for example, what you saw with this New Gods, the crimping and stuff. You don't see that.
Right.
And all you see is a little bit of rounding here. You do see that 1/8 of a fold that he was talking about. The back looks nice and white, pretty much. Some little shading here and there, but it's a pretty solid, brightly colored book.
Yeah.
So it presents very well, is what they say in the industry. It presents well.
Yes, it does.
So that's why I wondered when I got it, and I was like, a 4.0? This is a beautiful book. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch, staple pop. So the staple pop will kill you every time,
Staple
guys.
pop means, again,
That the cover tore,
Oh, okay.
and the staple
Right.
tore through the cover, and it's attached to the book still, but the cover's falling off,
Right.
in other words.
Okay.
So the top left staple is still attached firmly. So that's good, because if the entire cover was detached, this would probably be a 2.5 or a 3.0.
Oh, wow.
But since it's just the one, they graded it as a 4.0.
And that's a VG copy, essentially.
Right. I'm never going to take it out of here.
Right.
I mean, I just wanted to own this for owning, again, like that guy that wanted the one-cut page.
Yeah.
Just a piece of history. So this is the first appearance of Zatanna.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the first appearance. I haven't seen, for what I paid, I haven't seen a copy this pretty, as far as the cover's concerned.
Right.
So staple pop or not, I decided to keep it because of that. It
Yeah.
presents so well. It's such a pretty book. Now, CGC, they do differencing in some differentiation in label colors. Kevin, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, you mentioned the blue for universal grade. That just means that it's looks as it is. It hasn't been restored or anything like that. It hasn't been desecrated in any significant way. No signatures on it or anything like that. A yellow paper, which would be the signature series, would be a verified signature from an artist, from a writer. Even some cases, especially for modern books, if it's like a popular movie that the book was based off, you might see the actor do a signature on the book. So Christian Bale, if he signed like a Batman book, they would give him the signature series, signed by Christian Bale or something like that. But one of the most sought after signatures, well, I shouldn't say because there's a lot of them out there, would be like a Stan Lee signature.
Sure.
But I would say it'd be a Stan Lee signature on a book that he actually wrote from
Right.
back in the day, which I fortunately have a couple.
Nice.
But there's certain artists who it's very hard to get their signatures, and if they had passed away, then it does kind of go up a little bit.
Right.
So that counts. So, for example, Steve Ditko, who passed away earlier this year, if he had signed a book, and unfortunately never did, but let's say he did, it would be worth a significant amount of money. And another color would be the green label. That's for restored. That's if...
Well, actually, no. That is a qualified label.
I'm sorry.
Remember?
I'm sorry. That's right. You're so right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Purple, I think, is the one that's
Yes,
restored. Thank
the-
you for
the
correcting me.
purple is
Purple's
the restored
It's
label
restored
color.
label.
Yeah, that's the label that's applied to any comic that has evidence of repair.
Yes.
So that it will appear as if it did when it was in the original condition. So
Yes.
basically, it's like somebody replacing the staple or
Yeah,
something
staple.
like that. It's all rusty in the book. It's doing damage to the comic. They're like, well, we're going to take that out and we're going to
Glue.
put a new staple in.
If you glue
Right.
something on
This page is falling. Even like some of the older books, they'll be like dirty, and off color and stuff. And somebody will come in and they'll clean it real good and they'll color in a little bit, like
Oh,
give it a
nice.
little bit of vibrance.
touch up.
Like
Right.
painting restoration?
Yeah, it's
Right.
almost like the Mona Lisa. Someone to
Yes.
go in and just touch it
Cool.
up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love watching those.
That's the purple. They should do videos of their purple label
They
restoration.
should.
The green, I'm sorry, would be actually we have a couple of green.
Well, you do. I sold mine finally.
The tick.
Oh no, not the. No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
right.
I was about
You're
to
right.
say.
I do have that ticket.
Boy, don't do that.
No, it was the first Scorpion
Oh, okay.
comic. I got it in the mail, and I did not realize when I bought it that inside it was missing a page. And it noted it on the cover. It said under the green label, it said, missing one page from comic does not affect story, was only ad or ad only or something. So basically an advertisement was torn out.
Okay.
Probably because somebody was like, secret decoder ring, and they're like, yeah. And they pulled the whole ad out of the book, and it's noted that that's missing because
Yeah.
that it's not complete. So, right.
And that throws me off too a little bit because green also can stand for if someone, going back to what I was saying, if someone signed the book, but it wasn't verified or witnessed by CGC, they'll give you the green label.
Yeah, so we had a what was it, Tick 25th or 20th anniversary or something?
Tick 20th anniversary, and it had 50 signatures on there from people
50 signatures on the cover.
people who worked on the book on the Tick series over the years.
Yep. An
But-
insane amount.
Same amount.
But then, because it wasn't verified by CGC, somebody representative of theirs did not stand there and watch.
And watch it.
Even though it's verified by the company itself that you
Right.
purchased it
Whoa.
from.
Right.
Okay.
It should count
Since
for something.
CGC was not there, they green labeled it. Which
And-
I think's a
So
little bit bullshit.
It
but
only
Yeah.
counts
It-
the purple label if they're there to witness the
No, yellow.
signature?
Yellow
Sorry,
label.
yellow
Yeah.
label.
Yeah.
Label if they're there to witness.
if somebody signs and they're not there, the witness, it turns from yellow to green.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and green is, qualified. So it's basically
And in the
disqualifies.
collector's market, that yellow label really makes a difference for a lot of collectors. Not everybody, but for a lot of people, it's a big deal. They want to know that it's been verified.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And the funny thing is from what I hear, CBCS does signature verification now without having
yes,
to be there.
for a fee.
And yes, for a fee, but that's because of Beckett owning them now, because Beckett
The sports cards.
has done this for so many years because
Yes.
of baseball players,
Right.
from
Football, basketball, you name it.
signing cards for kids.
Right.
That shows. I got one done at a mall once. It was some baseball player for the Cleveland Indians that he never did anything that I know of for them, but I was excited because he played for the Cleveland Indians and he was there at my local mall and he signed my card that I had to go buy off a guy that sold it to me for $1. He was like, "Oh, just take it for $1, kid. It's okay. You know, he'll charge you $5 at the table. I'll give it to you for $1." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So sure as shit, he was charging like $5 for his cards at the table if you didn't have it.
You know what's cool about CBCS doing that is if you have a Jack Kirby signed book, and of course, you know, these companies came out after his passing, you now can get an official verification through CBCS. Okay, yes, this is definitely a Jack Kirby signature.
Yeah, because you nowhere ever could you get a verification from any of these companies for Jack Kirby's signature because he passed before any of these companies came into existence.
Right.
So everything's unqualified for a lot of these artists and a lot of these creators and writers and stuff because they just passed before these companies came to be. So that's the problem, you know, with that. Oh, sorry to interrupt, everyone. Just wanted to mention real quick about a shop in Canoga Park, California called Spiro's Heroes. Elliot, the proprietor of the store, has over 300,000 books in what's called the Temple of Comics. That's Spiro Heroes in Canoga Park, spirosheroes.com. Then, like we said, there's the NG for no grade?
Yes, NG for no grade.
Yeah. And then, what was it, PG? Which is a weird one.
Yeah, I forgot what PG stands for. What does it say?
Individual page is what PG stands for.
Ah.
Yeah, and then CVR stands for cover. And then there's a few other odd ducks in here that we don't really have to get into because
They're very
the
rare.
odds are somebody getting one of these
Extremely
are
rare.
slim to none. Yeah. So those are the big ones. That's the grading scale. So what you always want to do is, like, for example, if I'm buying a book from the 60s, it's acceptable to get a 4.0. The reason being because it's from the 60s.
Yeah.
You know?
Or earlier.
We're talking, 50, 60 years
Right.
of history here
Yeah.
that this book survived.
And plastic and backboards didn't
Right,
exist
right.
to protect the comics.
Yeah, so now what we want to look at is if you do a 4.0 and you go into the 90s where this Amazing Spider-Man 344 is, if you got a 4.0 of that, you've got a big pile of trash.
Yeah, it's not even worth it.
No one will pay you shit for that.
Right.
No, they'll laugh at you.
Because there's still so many 9.8s out there.
Right.
And the print runs from that era
Are insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, so not only can you find them more readily, you can find them more readily in better condition.
Yeah.
So why get one graded unless you're sure? When I bought this off the gentleman, he's like, that's got to be a 9.8, man. He's like, I can almost guarantee it. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, but it looks really good, dude. So I was like, I will buy this. And I think you were there, Kevin, when I bought it. So I bought it, and then sure as shit, when I handed it in, it came back as 9.8. And I was like, well, that guy was not lying. Yeah.
Spot on.
A lot of times they're full of shit because they don't know and they're just guesstimating.
Or they're just trying to sell the book and they'll tell you anything.
Right, yeah.
Right.
This book has got gold in it. Really? Shit.
If you put it under your pillow at night,
Yeah.
it's not gold.
A leprechaun, yeah, a leprechaun will pop out.
Right. Didn't you buy one, Kevin? They told you to make your penis bigger if you
I-
bought that book?
I don't know about that.
No? Oh, okay.
I don't
Sorry, you
know.
don't
It
have
must
to
be
like
another Kevin you were talking
that
to.
must have been Jarrett.
Must have been Jarrett.
Yeah. It could only be Jarrett. But that's the big thing. Anything else you can think of as far as the grading system and scale?
Well, quickly, I'll just mention the grades as they are. There's Gem Mint, then Mint, Near Mint, Very Fine, Fine, Very Good, Good, and then Poor. Working your way up.
Isn't there like fair too? Fair's in there.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, fair comes before poor. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. You'll see that's right. Fair and then poor.
Because if you're
Poor is
poor,
just
you know,
like-
if you're doing a little better, you're fair. You're in
fair.
fair condition.
Sure, yeah.
Because you're better than poor.
Right.
You're in fair condition.
And also, that scale is used even if you don't get it graded by any of these companies. Usually, generally speaking, if you just want a raw copy.
Right. And raw copy doesn't have anything to do with sex, guys. Just letting you know that ahead of time. If you go to a comic book booth and you say I'd like to get it raw.
Boo.
Although some collectors, you do wonder what they do be doing with some of their books. You do wonder.
That's true.
You do wonder sometimes.
That's true. I once spoke to a kid once, and he was getting he was talking about his Playboys, and I was like, "Oh, cool, yeah." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I used to have 5 of them, but then I ruined one."
Uh-huh.
And I went, "Okay,
see.
moving on."
Also, internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad.
Well, you know, some kids aren't allowed to be near a computer for reasons.
That's true.
But the grading system it's a very big deal for especially the really hardcore collectors. Some are very strict about what kind of books they collect and
Right.
grade. Some will not
Right.
accept anything below a 9.0, for example.
Right, and
Depending on the era.
I happen to be on a Facebook fan page for low grade comics. And I see a lot of these books that come back 2.5, 1.5. Somebody not long ago had a 1.5 Fantastic Four #1. And they were like, I'm over the moon.
Of course.
I'm so happy
'Cause for one
that I
thing-
got a 1.5 of this book.
Absolutely, because it's one of those, like I said, one of those rare books
Mm-hmm.
from that era, low print run.
Right.
And it had what you call the Marvel chipping. Mm-hmm. You know, the paper wasn't going to be as good.
Right. And you get an older book like that, and if you buy one in raw condition, for me, I want to go and get it slabbed. And I want to get it slabbed to preserve it, because
this getting it slabbed?
Yes, this is getting it slabbed.
Right.
If you get it in one of these cases like this.
Got it.
Because obviously if you drop this,
yeah.
it's not going to bend the book or ruin the book.
Right.
You know, whereas if you just have it in a little plastic or something in cardboard and you drop it, you could be screwed.
You could be screwed.
Yep.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is the different. I said it's funny when you look at these, you can't really tell the difference
Yeah.
between which one is sealed better or which
Yeah,
one
and the
which
weight and
the
stuff like
weight
that.
and which
Yeah.
one will last over the course
Yeah.
of time. Now,
Like this one's all completely flat,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all across the front and back for PGX. And then CGC's got this ridge,
Oh, I see.
you know, on the front, and then the indent in the back. And then CBCS is flat as well.
Yeah.
Now, apparently and supposedly, I was told from a dealer that CBCS is the best
As far as case quality.
as far as case quality and hermetically sealing it forever.
Yeah.
And that they said the CGC, technically every 7 to 10 years, you may have to replace the seal. I did not know that. If that is true,
I did not know that either.
If
yeah.
that is true, then wow, that's very interesting.
It's very interesting, and it's also very dirty of
Yeah.
a company to not tell you that in 7 to 10 years, you're going to have to take your book out and get it replaced in a new plastic and pay them to get it
Resealed.
resealed and
Yeah.
graded and everything, which I think is a little dirty, if,
Yeah.
if that's the case.
Especially the fact that they've been around, for so long, almost 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
They've been along
so
for a while.
they like suck out the air and like I mean like what
Not
makes
really.
it so like
I mean, not
that you would have to do it again.
Well, I guess the purpose of sealing them up is to prevent further what's the word I'm looking for? Oxidation.
right. Yeah, to keep the staples in the condition they're in, so they don't rust. Keep the
Color
moisture
state,
away.
Moisture
Oh,
in the
okay.
color.
Dust.
Got
Keep as much air out as possible.
Okay.
Obviously, you can see where it's sealed here. That's where they'll crack it open.
I see.
Because if you think about it, newsprint paper
Same
that
thing
these
here.
comic books were
Yeah.
printed on, they weren't meant to last.
No.
So, that's why, it's a miracle when you do find one of these old books from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they happen to be like a 9.0. Because naturally, you see those old newspapers, from like World War II or something like that, it's how brown it is and how,
Right.
it wasn't meant to last. They're meant to be disposable.
Speaking of dropping something.
You drop something?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's all right. I was just trying to get to this
Oh,
book. This is
perfect
a-
example.
Yeah, this is from 1944.
Okay.
This is an
Oh,
Airfighter
shit.
Comics Volume 2, Number 8. As you can see, it's extremely racist.
Yeah. I didn't even read it yet. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty racist.
Right. So that,
Yes, it is.
we did not like the Japanese at this point in time in history, so we have a few choice words to say about them on the cover of this Airfighter comic. So this is from 1944. So
What issue number is that again?
issue number 8. So I wanted to keep this as pristine and as good a shape as possible. So I had taken this to CBCS to get graded and sealed. Mainly, I just wanted it sealed.
Yeah.
I wanted to take good care of it, so I got them to seal it.
So
and put
when
it
you
in
get
here
them to
for me.
seal, they grade it anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they won't just seal them for you and slab them. Although they would probably make a lot of money if they did that too. Mm-hmm. And we're just like, you want them slab, no grade?
Don't
half the price.
Don't give them any ideas, Donald, because they'll do it.
Yeah, I know. You're right. No, you want us to paint on it? We'll do it. What? Pictures? But you can see how old
Wow.
the book is.
Old advertisement there.
Yeah. you're talking about.
Engraved in gold.
Yeah, yeah. So this is probably one of my oldest, if not the oldest, books I own from 1944.
Wow.
It's a nice one. So I tend to like
pretty.
these old war type comics,
That's true.
particularly from this character, Airboy from
Yeah.
Airfighter.
That's true. You're into the war comics. I'm into the horror comics of the 1950s. That I like to collect from
nice.
EC.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, he likes the ECs and
Tales
stuff.
from the
I collect a
Crypt,
few
Baltimore.
too. I think I got a 4 or 5 or something of an EC Tales from the Crypt comic.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Nice cover
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's got like a taxi driver and there's a werewolf in the back seat,
Ooh,
and he's like coming after him. Yeah, it was really cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the tutorial. I think. Did you have any questions, Kim, about?
No. No, you answered all the questions I had, personally.
Excellent. And always, of course, if any of you listening out there have any questions for us about graded comic books from any of the companies,
Let us know.
yeah, feel free to reach out.
If we missed something, please let us know in the comment section.
Shoot us an email. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram.
Subscribe to our righteous channel.
Right. Leave a comment on our YouTube page.
Send Donald a late birthday gift.
Send me a late birthday gift. I'll take Airfighter Comics. It's fine. Any issue in any shape, really. But if you send me one that smells like it's been passed through a dog's intestinal tract, I might not be too happy about it. But I'll still take it because I'm a whore
Yeah.
For comics.
for comics. Yes. So with that, thank you for listening. And my name is Donald.
My name is Kevin.
And my name is Kim.
And we'll see you
At the comic shop.
This has been The Real Short Box. We'll see you at the comic shop. Thanks for listening.
Mickey Mouse is here. I'm gonna take over this.
What Mickey Mouse is that?
That's Mickey. That's Mickey Mouse did a lot of drugs.
Hi, kids!
I'm cracked out.
I got a lot of drugs in my system right now.
Yeah, that's just you on something.
That's how I became a billionaire.